Joe Biden promised Ukraine $1 billion if they fired the prosecutor investigating his son's company.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
But when President Trump asks Ukraine to investigate corruption, the Democrats want to impeach him, and their media lapdogs fall in line. They lost the election. Now they want to steal this one. Don't let them.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Hey Michigan, John James here, approving this ad. By now you've seen the nasty attack ads from Gary Peters. He says, I'm not my own man, but here's the truth. I believe a quality education is a basic civil right. Students in Michigan are behind, parents are desperate, teachers are at their wits' end, and Senator Peters can't even show up for work. Listen up, Senator. You're not running against President Trump or Betsy DeVos or any other boogeyman. You're running against me. This may surprise you, Senator. No one owns me.
Good evening. Oops, got that on. Didn't mean to have that on just yet. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's gotta frig up already, don't it? Well, I'm dealing with this. It is not a bad thing because this is where I'm going, and it is a tremendous week once again. And hold on just a second. I gotta make sure I got it. There we go. And when it comes to winning, this just gets better, and I will tell you why, because it doesn't seem like anybody's talking about this amazing thing that happened last week, except the president. I wonder why. It seems like they got their head in the sand. You know, it's kind of crazy. But when you have insane Democrats, hey Henry, and what they do continuously, they cannot. Thank you very much, Henry. The winning just gets better and better, and supposedly something's coming out this week. It's going to blow everybody's mind. It seems to be everybody's making a big whoop to do about it. So we'll just have to sit tight because a lot has happened as usual. More information on General Flynn has come out that is just mind blowing. Some people are saying that the case is going to be dropped. I don't think so. I don't think so just yet, as much as I would like it to be. There's got to be something else. There has to be, because we really haven't got no hint that this case is going to get dropped. Could it be more documents? Could it be... Who knows? Only the president knows. He is the one with all the info. So, when it comes to the election, let's get right into this. We got some new stuff from James O'Keefe, and he is doing a smash-up job. Now, how long, it depends on how long you've been watching James O'Keefe. This guy's amazing. And you know what? When he first started this, like 4 years ago, he was going into abortion clinics, and he was literally dressed up like a pimp and getting these people to talk that they were doing illegal abortions for minors. And, you know, you thought, okay, well, it's going to be a fly-by night. And no, this guy is really stuck to his guns. He has really come up with some good investigation shows. And he's got some good people working out there in these companies like CNN. You had Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Google. He has exposed a lot of these people. Now he has really done some service. And that is with voter fraud. And get back up here. He has really done amazing stuff. So we all know that the Democrats want mail-in voter fraud really bad, super bad. And there's only one reason why, because they want to cheat. They want to do harvesting, which is they get some person they've hired and will go around, get all these ballots saying, okay, we're an independent person. We want to make sure your vote gets sent to the right place. They harvest all of these ballots and throw them away. And there's been evidence of this. We've seen them being dumped in a garbage can. They have found them, and the president has mentioned this as well, that these scumbags have put them behind a beauty shop, and these were all towards the president, because they know he is gonna. This is not gonna be a landslide. This is gonna be an avalanche of mass proportion, and they cannot handle this shit at all, and because they know they're going to prison. So when it comes to this, it is very important that we all keep our eyes and ears peeled for any shenanigans like this. But this has taken place in Minneapolis, and I do believe that the president will win this state, which he didn't last time. But with all the riots and all the other bullshit going on, that it's going to happen this time, including, and I'm going to just call it New York. I really feel it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What can you do about it? You can't do nothing. But I think he might. He has a good shot. He's making a play. He's going to get California. I'm going to add Washington, Oregon, and Minnesota to the win column as my predictions. I mean, that's almost all 50 states, damn near close. I'm hearing Hawaii might be going red. You never know. Well, just have to wait and see what happens. So here is James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe here in downtown Minneapolis at the scene of the crime. The person you're about to meet, Liban Mohammed, aka King Liban 1, boasts about the hundreds of absentee ballots in his car.
Numbers don't lie. Wajida gaarigaygu waa buuxaa. Waxaas waa absent ballot salka yaala. Soo ma jeedin. Fiiri, waxaas oo dhan soo ma jeedin. Waa buuxaa gaarigayga. Waa buuxa yaala. Waxaas kullu waa Jamaal Usmaan way. Fiiri. 300 clear maanta soo dhacday oo Jamaal Usmaan.
300 ballots.
Yeah.
There was video. You can see the video. There was a video out and about that he has the ballots in his car. Right. And talking about the only way you can win is with money. I was looking at them and they were not filled. They were blank.
Who is the one filling out the absentee ballots? People who work with, like Ilhan Omar. Where do they pay the money? The minute we sign the thing, the election, that's what you get paid.
Money is everything. Money is the key in this world. If you ain't got money, you should not be here, period.
Marka odayaasha waa loo codsadaa. Waana laga qaadaa.
At the end of this street,
Yes.
there's 3 towers called 1 tower.
Okay.
And it's all seniors, and they took every ballot.
Every ballot. They just take
Every
them from
single
them.
ballot. They knock on the door and say, your ballots come, give it to me, give it to me.
They don't even pay them for it. They just take them.
No. And the ones that didn't vote on ballots, the young people and the women and stuff, they were paying cash. They were getting bags of money the last time we were here to drive people. So there's a vested interest, but we are victims. They don't give a shit about any Somali.
2 in the morning, still hustling.
Who is the one filling out the absentee ballots? People who work with, like Ilhan Omar and other candidates who work for them. They came to us to our apartments. They tell us that this year you're going to vote for it. You don't go nowhere, you stay home, we will tell you fill out for your absentee ballot. When it comes, we'll come and get it. You just don't go nowhere, you stay here. We say fill out for us.
That's serious. That is very serious business. It is a felony. Again, the president has talked about this, And it's sad when you got to be a bunch of fucknuts and do stuff like this. Now, there's probably more on the way. There is... Let me find my window. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. It's the wrong window. Let me see here. Here, I'll do it this way. You know what? I've learned to work this. Gotta work it. Totally. There we go. That should do it. There is another one. It's gonna do this, isn't it? Okay. Here, let's say. There we go. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. Come on. Twitter. It is just gonna be a total pain in my ass. So here. Hold on a second. I gotta do something here real quick. I don't know why it continues to do this. Usually works fairly well. Aha, there we go. Now I got it. This should do the trick. That's where we got it.
Project Veritas has received an explosive piece of tape. The tape you're about to see shows a man buying a registration form for an absentee ballot from a voter, giving him, quote, pocket money, unquote, of $200 and expecting to collect his ballot when the voter receives it.
But that's illegal. Why?
We don't get illegal. How much are you? Good one.
She's the one who came up with all this.
So she did it. She
Yeah.
started this whole thing with
Yeah.
the pay to vote.
Yeah.
So the people that work for Ilhan are actually counting the ballots, counting the vote.
And they become a manager in the prison too.
They walk with you to the booth, and then they vote. Oh, vote this guy. Vote this guy. Vote this guy. Vote even if you speak English.
The reason she's fighting for Palestine is because of this guy. So it's all about money and power, and they want her to defend Israel.
It's not a joke, guys. I believe there's more to come. He usually doesn't stop at 2. This is serious business, and not only does she have this looking at her, she has immigration fraud, she has money laundering, she's got all kinds of criminality behind her. Why is it taking so long to get her? Arrest her, sentence her, when she's done, deport her, take their citizenship away. Anybody who is involved in this scam with her should have their absolute citizenship revoked and go. Sayonara. It really is. It's a mess, and the president is completely right. He's always right. He's not going to sit there and tell you something that isn't there. And it's very, very disturbing that this even goes on. I want to get to a huge story. It's huge that nobody is hardly talking about. Nobody. I mean, the president does. This is great. The president has been nominated for the third time for a Peace Prize by Australian law professors in Doctrine August ends the war, whatever that is. But it doesn't matter. It's just absolutely astounding news, and it's fallen by the wayside. Now, I just talked to somebody that said, well, he's not going to get it. Sure, he's going to get it. He has done so much for this world. When it comes to peace, we're talking Korea, we're talking the new armistice agreement with Israel, you had the Middle East Summit, you had the USMCA, which is great. You somewhat had a peace deal with China, but they're the ones who screwed that up. Not his fault. Monday, President Donald Trump was nominated for the third time this year for a 2021 Nobel Peace Prize. Nomination comes I stumble. I'm tongue-tied. Of Australian law professors pressing the Trump doctrine against the endless wars. And that is very true. He's bringing our troops home. He is tired of wars. He said this many years ago that we cannot squander our blood and money and treasures for wars to go on forever. The Afghans have come down to the peace table. This is about ready to end. It's astounding. Who would think? While speaking to Sky News in Australia, law professor David Flint explained why he decided to nominate Trump. The Trump doctrine is something extraordinary. As so many things that Donald Trump does, he is guided by two things which seem to be absent from many politicians. He is firstly common sense, and he's the only guided by the national interest. And therefore, in our circumstances, the interest in the Western Alliance, Flint said. What he has done with the Trump doctrine is that he has decided that he would no longer have America involved in endless wars which achieve nothing but the killing of thousands of young Americans and enormous debt imposed on America. I think that is the nicest thing a lot of people don't usually say about him, and I'm glad they had decided to nominate this man. Would you be surprised if there's going to be any more? There's probably going to be a whole lot more, because with the armistice accord, they are expecting even more countries to jump aboard and take notice of and he's always persisted, you're in charge of your sovereign nation. That is yours. You govern. We're not here to tell you what to do. And it's Canada first for them, America first for us, etc. And this is why I think they're all coming aboard. They see the economic and peaceful advantages of the accord. Now there's talk that possibly, but it's going to take a while, I personally think, to get the Palestinians to the table and the Iranians. Some say maybe a little bit sooner, but I surely doubt that, because they are too extreme. They're not looking for peace with anybody, especially Israel. They continue to chant death to America, death to Israel. That don't sound too peaceful to me. It'll be interesting to see what countries come next. We just had United Arab Emirates. We've had Kosovo and many others. And it may sound a little cheesy, but he is making this world so much better. It's so much more miserable for the people who really do hate. And the one thing the deep state does not want is peace. They need this cash cow when it comes to arms, wars, and everything else. There's another reason to get rid of them. And they are quickly going. It should not be much longer. Let me see what else I got for you. I got a few things here and there. I was actually going to save this, but I think I'll show you it anyway. How it all began. We all kind of know how the coup began, but here's kind of a summary for those who don't know. Oh, it's going to do this. Dang it.
Starting to trace back the origins of the coup.
Yeah, it's not going to do it. Because I'm using a different browser is why it's screwing up like that. But let me see here. Figure it out. It's all good. We'll just go on to the next one. How's that? It is... The president is putting $500 billion with the B to fight Black American plans designate KKK and Antifa as terrorist organizations. Now, this is something a lot of us have been calling out for, considering the riots and the thuggery that these little shits do. So you can't just not ignore it. What they do is domestic terrorism. And it is quite clear. But you know who doesn't say anything? Who allows it? You guessed it, the Democrats. They sure do. And name one Democrat that says they denounce this. I don't think there's one. And I'm not talking recently. I'm talking at the beginning of it. No, they claimed it was peaceful protest. Is what they claimed. As cities burn, cities been looted, people been hurt, robbed, assaulted. And it's still kind of going on. So it is, I am very excited that this is going to happen. The Klan, and I may get a lot of shit for it, but this is the facts, is the Klan started with the Democrat Party. It did. It was never the Republican Party. It was the Democrat Party. Look up your history. This is why we need it. They are also responsible for abortion. You have Margaret Sanger, the founder, or if you will, mother of abortions, which Hillary Clinton praises her today. and Senator Byrd, who was a grand wizard, and he was a Democrat and Hillary's mentor. Surprise, surprise, right? Maybe a lot of people didn't know that. It's stuff they need to know. President Trump plans for Black American designates the Klan, Antifa as terrorist organizations and call for making lynchings a national hate crime. It should have been a long time ago. White privilege to increase access to capital in black communities. I don't really buy the white privilege shit. That's just not my bag. Black communities in nearly 500 billion. Fox News has learned the president on Friday is expected to roll out details of what the campaign is calling to the Platinum Plan, which details opportunity, security, prosperity, and fairness for the black community. And this is a man who really has done a lot for the black community, and continues. For decades, Democrat politicians like Joe Biden have taken black voters for granted. This is a fact. They have made you a big promise before every election, and the moment they get into Washington, they abandon you and sold you out. The president is expected to say Friday, according to remarks exclusively obtained by Fox News, the Democrats will always take black voters for granted until large numbers of black Americans vote Republican. The president is expected to taunt the plan as a bold vision that can and will achieve over the next 4 years. This was actually, when was this written? That was yesterday. This is from yesterday. So expect that Friday, I would assume. Henry Tucker Bumper Politics. Why? Kimmy does it a lot better. Trump tweeted already. Lots of things going wrong. Although they already were. What is the 500 billion for? That's a really good question. I hope he answers it Friday. That's a lot of money. He's got big, he never does anything small. So everybody just joining, please join in DLive, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, Facebook, and possibly YouTube. I think YouTube is up for now. Probably after this broadcast, they'll say, "Oh, well, you said something mean." And so it's usually the way it goes, right, everybody? So please join in there if you want to, and I hope you do. Let's see what else is on the agenda here. Let me close that out for you. And we have speaking of the okay, I'm gonna have to do it that way. Speaking of the black voters, he was in Atlanta, Georgia last week, and let's take a little look at it.
Who gave that light to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her.
Oh, wait a minute! I'm gonna get nailed for that. I gotta turn the music off. They're gonna kick me off. I know that. I love the song. It's a great song. but YouTube are a bunch of prudes.
Thank you very much. And thank you to Herschel. I don't know about Herschel. I don't know about Herschel. I'd watch him in college. I'd watch him carry that ball. But, you know, I think he'd do just as well as a senator or a governor. We're going to have to start talking to him about that. He's a fantastic person. Great man. I'm honored to be back in the heart of Georgia with the truly incredible organization, Black Voices for Trump, and we appreciate it. In 39 days, we're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And we will do it with a record number of votes from the Black community. We have no doubt. That's all happening. That's all happening. We're getting a lot of, see the people back there, they're saying, what's going on over here? They're not happy about it, but that's okay. Our movement is welcoming millions of Black Americans back to the Republican Party, the party of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I looked at the dismal and shameful record of the Democrat Party and asked Black Americans, what the hell do you have to lose, right? And they all said, you shouldn't use the word hell, but I said, it's just more descriptive. Doesn't work as well without it. Today I want to share what you have to gain from voting Republican on November 3rd. Will be the biggest election of our lives. For decades, Democrat politicians like Joe Biden have taken Black voters for granted. They made you big promises before every election, and then the moment they got to Washington, they abandoned you and they sold you out. The Democrat Party used you and they lied to you every single time. You know it better than anybody else knows. The Democrats will always take back the vote. What they want to do is they'll take that vote back. They want to take the Black voter for granted, and they have taken the Black voter for granted. And it's not fair, it's not right, and it's not going to happen, because we're going to have such a victory like you've never had before. In 2016, thank you. In 2016, I made you a solemn pledge that whether you voted for me or not, I would be your greatest champion. Since that time, I've delivered even more than I promised. It's one of those things. Few politicians do that, but I believe we have. Before the China virus, we built the greatest economy for African Americans in the history of our country, and we are doing it again. In the first 3 years, we achieved the lowest Black unemployment rate in history. The Black youth unemployment rate reached an all-time low. We achieved the largest job gains for African Americans on record. Black Americans saw the largest increase in home ownership. The poverty rate for African Americans reached the lowest level ever recorded. And last year, 811,000 African Americans were lifted out of poverty, the most in over 51 years. In my first 3 years, we lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction of any president in the history of our country. I did more for the Black community in 47 months. I saw they used that line, so I don't want to ruin it by saying it a second time. It was in the video, but I will say it again. Than Joe Biden did in 47 years. And I'm here today to announce a brand new plan to deliver more opportunity more security, more fairness, and more prosperity to black communities. We call it the Platinum Plan.
I was supposed to be last Friday.
And that's a contract with black Americans, and it's going to be something that people talk about for a long time to come. If you vote Republican over the next 4 years, we will create 3 million new jobs for the black community. Open 500,000 new black-owned businesses. Increase access to capital in black communities by $500 billion. And this includes investing in community development, financial institutions, and minority depository institutions. Build up peaceful and safer urban neighborhoods with the highest standards of, and you know this, of policing. We want the highest standards we have to have. We have to have highest standards of policing. Bring even greater fairness to the justice system. We did criminal justice reform. We remember that. Even greater, we will create a national clemency project to right wrongful prosecutions and to pardon individuals who have reformed their life. You saw Alice, right? We love Alice. She had another 24 years to go. Can you believe it? She served 22 years. She had another 24 years to go. It was ridiculous. And she is a great woman. Create a ladder of opportunity for African American children by delivering school choice to every parent in America. So important. Give black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their communities. Bring better and tailored health care to address the historic disparities that we've had for so many years. You know that. This includes investing in treatments for kidney disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, sickle cell disease, and maternal mortality. Advance home ownership and wealth building in the black community. Bring more manufacturing back to the USA, which we're doing anyway, and back to the inner cities, which have been largely forgotten, although not so much in the last 3 years when you get right down to it. Thank you. End Democrat policies that import low-wage foreign workers from overseas to replace black workers in our inner cities. Joe Biden cares more about the citizens of foreign countries than he does about black Americans living in our own country. I will always put Americans first, and that includes, very, very importantly, black Americans. And there's much more in our plan, which we're releasing today, so we'll get everyone a copy, and it's actually been very well received, and we appreciate that. The Platinum Plan is a bold vision that we can and really will achieve over the next 4 years, and we'll be able to do it, if not sooner. Unlike my opponent, I'm not a career politician, thank goodness. I get results, and I keep my promise, and you've seen that. You've seen that. Together, we will not only build up America's black communities, we'll help with your vote, with the Platinum Plan, we'll lift up all forgotten communities, and we'll strengthen our entire nation. And we are going to have an incredible 4 years, but more importantly, we're going to have an incredible 40 years. We're going to have many, many great years because we're setting a foundation for the future. So when I'm not here, you're going to be here forever, especially look at these young people over here. You're going to really be there for a long time, but we want this for long term. This year, the Republican Party has 26 black Republicans running for Congress. Where are they? Are they here? Are they here? A lot of them are here, right? Whoa. That's a good-looking group of people. And you're doing well. Just about in every instance. Well, we're going to help you to do even better. We'll be helping you. You watch. And we're thrilled to be joined today by 8 of them. Raise your hand. Which are the 8? Oh, that's so great. Yeah. They have what it takes. That's great. That's fantastic. Great job. One of them I've endorsed very strongly. I saw an ad that I liked. I thought it was great. Raise your hand, please. What a great. They've been now endorsed, I will tell you. And congratulations, by the way. It's going to be a fantastic night, November 3rd. Now, I don't know, with this ballot situation, it's you're not going to see it. November 3rd, the Democrats are playing games. You see that? You see they found ballots in a waste paper basket. They found ballots dumped in a stream. Take a look at Iowa, the primaries. You remember the primary? They went to Iowa. We love Iowa, but they tried this ballot concept, and they still don't know who won. That was a long time ago. That was in their primary, the first primary. And it's a very terrible thing that's happening, very, very terrible thing. But you're going to be raising the hand, if not November 3rd, hopefully shortly thereafter. I know you're going to be raising your hand. With me, we may end up in a dispute for a long time because that's the way they want it. But we're going to end up winning, that's for sure. Okay? We're going to end up winning. When I give my State of the Union address next year, I look forward to welcoming a historic number of black Republican members of Congress, and we're going to take back the House. We're going to take back.
Get it.
We've already won some seats back. They don't like to talk about that. The fake news. You'll find out about the fake news. Have you figured out the fake news yet? You're young and handsome and beautiful. Have you figured out the fake news yet? You'll learn. You'll learn. You'll learn to live with it. You'll learn to do what you have to do. But we are going to take back the House. I think we're only 17. We picked up a couple. We just won a big one in Los Angeles. We haven't won in 22 years. California. Won a big one in Wisconsin. It was a great one. We won some really good ones. So we're inching up, and you watch what's going to happen. It's going to be a very big night for the House.
Yeah,
it's going to be a really retired Pelosi. That's out of bed. That's going to be great. Congratulations, all. That's already into law, and we'll do it quickly and easily. We're also joined by a great friend of mine, Dr. Ben. Ben, I love Ben. Special man. He's doing a great job, too. He's been sick, like Casey. He only had one thing. He wouldn't leave the race. He'd get -1. He's going on to the next one. This guy did great. He was incredible. And he came up to me during the race, and he was doing well. He said, "You know that you're going to win, don't you?" I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "You know you're going to win." He was doing great. And he was really like in second, third, and fourth, and back to second. I mean, he was right up there. He was great. I said, we got to get this guy out of here. But he came up to me, he did, and he said, you're going to win. And I'll let him tell you the rest of the story if he'd like to do it sometime. But he gave a very specific reason, and I will never forget what he said. But he said, you know you're going to win, don't you? And I just thought it was really nice. And you know what I'm talking about, Ben. So Ben Carson, what a job he's done, too. Respected by everybody. Thank you, Ben.
Absolutely nice.
And a man who ran in the primary, who I got a call from another great man, David Perdue. He said, could you do us a favor? There's a guy named Brian Kemp, and he's running in a tough primary. He's got a tough opponent. And do you think you could maybe endorse him? I love David Perdue. I said, who is he? I don't know him, okay? And he said, well, he's been for you. I said, well, I've heard that before. I better be careful. And we did a little, where's Brian? Right over here, Brian. So we did a little research. And he was for me all the way. And I said, that's good. You know, the worst thing is when you're endorsing people that say bad things, right? He only said good. And I got to know him, and I got to know his wife, Marty, and I said, absolutely, and we endorsed him, and he won that primary so easily. And they're still trying to figure out what happened in the race. I've been watching. You know what? It wasn't that close. He won by like a lot, actually. You know, he didn't win by 15 votes. He won by a lot. How many votes was that? That was a lot. Well, we won't call it a landslide, but it wasn't very close, you know. How many votes was that, Brian? It was a lot. 51. To me, you know what that is? That's Yankee Stadium for a World Series. Oh. You know, people would say, "Oh, that was tight." I don't think, like I heard I won Michigan by 12,000. I said that's an almost full Madison Square Garden. You know, not quite full, but that's Yankee Stadium for the World Series. I think that's a lot. We look at it differently. But I do want to introduce also David Perdue, who is he is really an incredible guy. He loves everybody in this room. Where's David? David, please stand up. Is that right? Did you make that call? Well, you made that call. He made that call. That was a good call because your governor's doing a great job and David's doing a great job. And I hope you can support David, Brian, and all of them. They're incredible people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, David, for everything. Thanks also to Oklahoma's first black Speaker of the House, T.W. Shannon. Where's T.W.? Oh, I like that. I want to do that. I want to do that. Thank you, T.W. Great reputation. Thank you very much. And a friend of mine who, my children, you know, they'll always be children. They may be a little older than children, but they're always my children. They love her, Lynn Patton. Lynn, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. And if you're a UFC fan, anybody like UFC? It's, I'll tell you what, that's right, Usman. He goes, Usman. He's, I know who he is. He's tough. That's who he is. Kamaru Usman. Where is our champ? Come on, champ, get up. Man, oh man, oh man. What a fighter you are. I don't want to mess with him. I may weigh a couple of pounds more. Do you think I could take you to fight, champ? I don't think so. He goes, no. I think you're right, champ. But I watched a fight you had a couple of months ago. Unbelievable and talent, but right up here too, you know? It's a combination. The muscles are important, but you got to have the other. You got to have the... You know, he actually looks very good in the suit, but he's one of the few people who look better without a suit. There aren't too many of us. Hey, there aren't too many of us that can say that, right? Right, men? The men in this audience, huh?
Really?
But I just want to thank you, champ, and good luck. I'll be watching. You have a big fight coming up, and I'll be watching, and it's a great group of people, great group of champions. Thank you very much. Thank you. Another great fighter, Ali Abdelaziz, who is tough. Where is he? There he is. Oh, you're tough. You're so tough, the two of you guys. I'd like to see you both fight, but there's a little weight difference, I guess, right? You probably think you could take him, right? But what is the difference in weight? What is it? 20? 10? I know. What is it, though? And how were you a fighter at one time? And how good? You pretty good? Not good as him. Nobody else is either, so, you know, that's easy. Yeah, you were a good fighter. Also, Atlanta's top hip-hop producer, Polo. Do you know? Where is he? Where is he? The Don. You know, Don King used to call me the Don, right? He still does, actually. But you didn't get it from Don King, I know that, right? Nice to see you. Great to have you. Great to have you. Thank you very much. Do we have another UFC fighter here? Because I had heard yes, because I know we had somebody else go. I just don't want to skip it in case we do. I have a lot of respect for them. Anybody gets in a ring and does that and comes out winning, to me, I have a lot of respect. And when you become the champ, I want to tell you, it's that's a hell of a thing. That's what you live for, the belt, right? The money or the belt? You know what? If you get the belt, the money comes, right? So, great going, champ. Fantastic. Over the last 50 years, black Americans have mostly voted Democrat, but more black Americans are deciding that the old way is not working. 5 decades of evidence prove that Democrat politicians do not care about the black community. They only care about power for themselves, whatever that means. Offering black Americans nothing but the same old, tired, empty slogans. By the way, he lose to a guy that's like you losing to a fighter that, you know, hasn't worked out in the last 6 months. This guy never goes out. It's terrible, huh? Oh, you better make sure I win. I'm going to be very embarrassed. I lost to a guy that didn't campaign. You know why he's not campaigning? I guess it's an energy factor. So what the hell is going on? If I lose to a man that doesn't campaign, no, he's announced every day. He announced we're going to stay in today. I don't know. Hey, I can't tell you, but the Democrats are angry at him. They say you can't do that. You know, I just left Florida, and from here I'm going to Washington, then I'm going to Virginia, then I'm going to someplace else and someplace else. By the way, I see Kelly and I see Collins back there. Will you please stand up? Okay, please. Please. You know, those are two champions. So, they had their names in there, but they took them out. You know why? Because they probably want to not mention them together. They're going to end up liking each other. You watch. And they're two great people. I'm not going to skip them over. They thought it would be diplomatic. That's not diplomatic. That's stupid, right? But I stand here to offer solutions. I want to congratulate you both, really fighting a good fight. I want to say that. Both of you, Doug, Kelly, really great. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Well, I sort of like it. You know why? They're going to be in there fighting. Don't anybody get out. They're going to get, and it goes, and everybody's going to come with them. And the only thing I know for sure, they're all going to vote for me, both of them. So, Brian, don't let them get out. Don't let anybody get out. Let them. That's going to be a fight. But everyone's going for both of them. Huh? Okay. It's going to be, hey, we don't have long to go either. We don't have long to go. November 3rd. I've spent the last 4 years reversing the horrible damage Joe Biden inflicted on the black community over 47 years. 47 years. He always says, oh, I should have done this. I said, you've been there for 47 years. It's always great.
Now he says 180 years.
When they tell you what you should be doing and they haven't done it themselves. And it's not like it was 25 years ago that he left. He was there 3.5 years ago, right? So, it's one of those things. No one in Washington politics today has done more to hurt black Americans than Joe Biden. It's true. For half a century, Joe's personally advocated or enacted virtually every policy that has caused pain and suffering in the black community. You know that. Joe Biden shipped millions of your best jobs overseas, hollowed out the black middle class, and with open borders, trapped children in failing government schools, sent young men to fight in endless wars. They just never end. They're coming back home. You see that. They're coming back home. Many are already back. While our inner cities crumbled at home and made cities less safe and less secure, Joe Biden should not be demanding your support. He should be begging for your forgiveness. He really should be. My opponent drafted the 1994 disaster, the 1994 crime bill, which caused unfair sentencing disparities that devastated black families. And I mean, just devastated. I have heard more about the 1994, and when we did criminal justice reform, it was largely about erasing that terrible act. That was his deal. I rolled back the unfair provisions of the 1994 Biden crime bill, and I signed it into groundbreaking criminal justice reform, which people are so happy about. Even my enemies are saying thank you for that. Today, we're glad to be joined by the first person to be released under the First Step Act, who I was honored to have as my guest at the State of the Union, a really wonderful man, Matthew Charles. Where's Matthew? Where's Matthew? Where's Matthew? What a good man. What a smile. I looked at that smile from the podium downstairs. I was surrounded by all those killer politicians. And I looked at Matthew, who's the nicest looking guy in the house. Thank you, Matthew. You're doing well, Matthew, right? That's great, Matthew. You deserve what you got. You deserve it. Biden supported the twin disasters of NAFTA and China's entry into the World Trade Organization, which eliminated 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs held by black Americans. You know that. Joe Biden's globalist agenda closed down factories in Baltimore and sent them, just see what happened, all these factories, all these jobs, all these factories, sent them to Beijing. He shuttered the plants in Michigan and he sent them to Mexico. I replaced NAFTA, one of the worst trade deals, one of the worst, stupidest deals I've ever seen in my life, with the new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs. That was one they said could not be done, David, right? They said it couldn't be done. David Perdue, they said that one couldn't be done, right, David? And we got it done in pretty quick time, too. To revitalize neglected communities, we created nearly 9,000 opportunity zones with Tim Scott, South Carolina. You know Tim Scott.
Becca in D Live chat says, "Fat check. Biden did not make the Guinness Book of World Records as the longest running politician."
Tim Scott is great. Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina came to my office, came to the Oval Office, and he had this idea, and I said, that sounds good. And we got it done, and people were surprised that we could even get it done, and it has turned out to be incredible.
Well, yeah, he did. He ran for 180 years. Didn't you know that? Well, at least that's what he says.
Incredible. $75 billion of investment have poured into these neighborhoods, which will create an estimated 500,000 jobs and lift 1 million Americans out of poverty. When the China virus struck, we raced to ensure that black Americans had the medical care and the financial support that they needed. Through the Paycheck Protection Program, which was a big deal, we helped save over 200,000 black-owned small businesses. A lot of small businesses. It's incredible. The black community has tremendous talent in terms of those businesses and small businesses. We saved at least 200,000 of them.
True.
As we continue to battle the virus, my administration is sheltering those at highest risk while rapidly developing treatments, and the vaccine is coming very quickly. I see where a couple of the Democrats don't want to have the vaccine because they say, well, we don't want it because we think Trump is pushing it too fast. Well, that's the reason we're going to have it. This would have taken years to get. We're years ahead of schedule, and this would have been 2-3 years by Democrats. And but now they're very concerned because they're afraid it's happening too fast, and that means we're going to get credit. I don't want credit. We want to save lives. That's what it's.
Absolutely.
We will crush the virus. Our opponents will crush the black middle class. That's what they've been doing. And they've been doing it for a long time, for too long. They will deliver a crippling shutdown and a...
Becca in the chat says, but that's not on the books.
very steep depression. If he gets elected, this guy, okay, you will have the greatest depression that this country has ever seen. And that includes a pretty big one in 1929. Hello, how are you? You look great. I love her dress. That's great. Thank you for being here. I didn't know you were going to be here. Thank you very much. Nearly 1.3 million African Americans have gotten jobs in the last 4 months alone. And next year we will be, I think it'll be the greatest year, economically the greatest year in the history of our country. And that's good for everybody. That's good for everybody, right? Especially for these young geniuses, these young political geniuses that are coming along. But I think we're going to have the greatest year in the history of our country economically. And I think our third quarter, which happens to be, it's going to be announced 2 days before, the numbers come out 2 days before the election, right at the beginning of November. And I'll say it now. These people, all those people up there, they'll hold me to it. They won't give me credit if I was right. But if I was wrong, it'll be headlines. We have breaking news. Trump said wrong. But I think we're going to have a tremendous third quarter. After years of rebuilding other countries, we're finally rebuilding our country. The path to the American dream has always been education. Republicans believe that school choice is the civil rights issue of our time. And Joe Biden isn't allowed to go there because of the radical left. He's controlled by the radical left totally. He's exhausted. But Biden's promised a ban on charter schools and to oppose school choice. Joe Biden is willing to spend billions and billions upon resettling refugees from all around the world, but he won't spend one penny providing school choice to black children in America, which is interesting. During their first year in office, President Obama and VP Biden cut funding for historically black colleges and universities. I've increased HBCU funding, and I made it permanent. You know, just a quick story. So what was happening is that the first year I saw these, probably 42 people came up, and they were the heads of individual colleges, historically black colleges, universities, and they were the heads. And I'd see them. I said, "Oh, hello, how you doing?" They were nice people. And we took a picture in the White House. We do that. You know, a lot of presidents don't believe anyone should ever enter the Oval Office, but them. With me, I say, "Come on in." But we took a picture. Then the next year they were there again, and I said, "Right, we know the story, my friend. We know the story." They were there, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing back here?" They said, "We're here because we need money again." I said, "What do you mean again?" And I forgot about it. I said, "All right, well, what is?" And they got it. And then the third year, David, they came in again, right? And I said, "What is this? What are you guys here for? I mean, you're great people, but why?" "Well, we don't have any funding. They don't have permanent funding, so they could be shut out if they had the wrong president." You know, honestly, you could have the wrong president, and you wouldn't get 10 cents. They wouldn't give you anything. And I said, "That's terrible. So you come up here do you like doing it?" "No." And the one gentleman looked at me and said, "We feel like beggars." That was a hell of a statement. You know, I said, "I understand that." And I said, "We can't let this happen." So we worked on it. David Perdue, all of us worked on it. Kelly worked on it. We all worked on it. And frankly, and I have to say, you know, it had to go through the House. And where's Doug? Doug worked on it. Right, Doug? You remember that. That was a hard thing. It wasn't easy. There were people that didn't want to do it. And we got it passed. We got more money than they asked for. I said, "You're going to need more." I'm in the real estate business. I said, "You always need more. Whatever you think you need more." But we got more money than they asked for, and we got it for a period of 10 years, right? So I said, we signed it together, about 42 people. We signed it together. I said, the only bad thing is that I like you people. I won't see you anymore. I won't see you for another 10 years. Let's see, will we be president in 10 years? Only if we add a couple of terms in. Now we have a story. There's your breaking news. I told you he's a dictator. We've been saying he will not give up power. Under no circumstances will he give up power. He intends to serve at least 2 more terms. Oh, that's the big story. You know, you can't joke, because if you joke, they take it away. You know, a lot of times with a little sarcasm in your joke, but you're being serious, and then you start laughing afterwards. But they always cut it before the laugh. They cut it so that they think he's serious. He wants 12 more years. They start shouting now, 12 more years. Thank you. Earlier this year, Biden said that if you don't vote for him, then you ain't black. You know that. And this was very outrageous. This was offensive. In fact, he was very derisive of the black Americans when he very negatively compared them to another group of Americans. It was very terrible, and he did it. Biden believes that all black Americans have to think the same way. That's what it was all about. Today's Democrat Party is run by, he doesn't know black Americans like I do. That I can tell you. Today's Democrat Party is run by out-of-touch liberal hypocrites who stereotype you, disrespect you, and sell you out. They're only good for your 6-month period. 6 months.
But really, this is not the first time he's done it. He did it last time he ran. He did it the prior time that he ran. He insulted the black community. He has insulted the India community by when he said, go look it up. He went into a 7-Eleven. There was an Indian guy there. He kind of made a racial epithet, or not epithet, but comparison. And he's always doing it. This is nothing new. He is a true bigot.
Before the election. And then they're very nice and they want your vote. And then they, as you say, I like that better than what I'm saying. They forget all about you. They're gone. They're gone. Biden wants to lecture the country about racial justice when he spent his career hurting black Americans, hurting Hispanic Americans, and forging alliances with pro-segregation Democrat senators. You know that. Racial justice begins with Joe Biden's retirement from public life. So today I'm urging black Americans to walk away from the corrupt, hateful, divisive, and very extreme, and they are going crazy, Democrat Party. On no issue has the Democrat Party more totally failed the black community than public safety. Democrats have run America's inner cities at every level of government for 100 years and even more. Last year, 19 of the top 20 most dangerous cities in America were run by Democrats. The murder rate is higher in Baltimore than in Afghanistan, El Salvador, or Honduras, right? It's higher. Instead of fighting for public safety for these communities, the Democrats are attacking our police and empowering far-left rioters, looters, and anarchists. You know, they are anarchists. The Democrat Party's war on cops has caused black-owned businesses to be burned and black homes and churches to be totally destroyed. Most tragedy of all, so many innocent black lives have been cruelly taken from us. People are dying by the thousands in black-on-black crime, and I wanted to stay. In Chicago, as an example, there are weekends when 60, 70 or more people are shot. This is shot, and many die. How can we allow this to go on? How can we allow this to happen? But they're all Democrat-run cities. Every year, thousands of African Americans are murdered as a result of violent crime, and again, in these Democrat-run monstrosities, the way they run them. It's worse. It's worse than Afghanistan. It's worse than, we're at war. We go to war zones and we don't lose this many people in war zones. Democrats ignore these American victims, and I won't. And, you know, we have to be asked to come in. We have to be asked to come in. By law, they have to say, please come in. And wherever we've gone in, Minneapolis, we went in, we solved the problem. They should have called us 2 weeks earlier. They would have had a city left, okay? But Seattle, they knew we were coming in. I said, we're going in. We don't care. We're going in. The night before we went in, they left.
I know the feeling, bread maker.
And others. I mean, look at Portland.
Hey,
I mean, how bad is Portland? How bad is Portland? And we could solve that one in about a half an hour. A bunch of young anarchists, they live with their parents. In a basement also, they live in a basement. And I'll always support the heroes of law enforcement. We have to, including over 50,000 incredible black police officers who risk their lives every day to keep us all safe. You know, they protect people that they've never met before, and it's very dangerous. They're amazing. Those pushing to defund the police are hurting black communities the most. And as I've always said, when there is police misconduct, the justice system must hold wrongdoers fully responsible and accountable, and they will do that. Politicians supporting mob violence are not allies of the black community. They're causing extraordinary damage, grief, hardship. In recent months, our nation has grieved for the tragic deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery. Our hearts break for their families and for all families who have lost a loved one, especially if you look at this way, so senseless. But we can never allow mob rule. To have safety, to have prosperity, to have everything that you want to have, we must always ensure the rule of law. As you know, we have to. Many of those who are spreading violence in our cities are supporters of an organization called Black Lives Matter, or BLM. It's really hurting the black community. It's hurting the black community.
Yeah, it's true.
This is an unusual name for an organization whose ideology and tactics are right now destroying many black lives, and whose first phrase was, you remember this, pigs and fry them like bacon, referring to our police. That's referring to our police. The stated goal of BLM organization people is to achieve the destruction of the nuclear family, abolish the police, abolish prisons, abolish border security, abolish capitalism, and school choice. That's what their stated goals are. This is not the agenda of the black community. This is the agenda of an extreme socialist, or worse. You know what the other word is? Yeah, Marxist, communist, communist. But this is the extreme socialist left, but beyond that, in my opinion. That's why the founders of the organization call themselves trained Marxists. And yet we have major corporations, out of weakness or fear or whatever reason, donating hundreds of millions of dollars to them. These are fools. These are fools. The big progressive corporations donating to BLM should instead be spending their money helping black families rebuild from the left-wing riots. Wealthy liberal hypocrites want to defund the police in our inner. They want open borders for you, but security for themselves. They want top security, but let's open up the borders. Let's let everybody pour into our country so that you won't have jobs left. You won't have anything left. You won't have, and there's a tremendous public health crisis. You know, we built now over 330. I said, I made a mistake. I should have said, we will not build a wall. And we would have had funding in about 15 minutes. Instead, I had to win 6 different lawsuits. This was not easy. Crazy Nancy. She's crazy. And you know, do you notice how quiet it is now? Now it's 330 miles. It'll be built first. It'll be completed. We're doing 10 miles a day on average. Think of this. I don't hear anymore about the wall. They don't want to talk about the wall anymore. But the numbers are great. Republicans will always uphold equal justice under the law. We will defend the civil rights of every single American, and we will defend our God.
Okay, I had a little disruption there. Hopefully things are back to normal. D-Light went out. I got her back out.
God-given freedoms, including religious liberty. And the Second Amendment, by the way. And, Second Amendment. Have to save our Second Amendment. I'm the only thing standing between you.
Becca in the D-Live chat, where'd I get my shirt? I got it at the Trump rally. That was in Michigan. And I picked it up. And I got me like one of those Trump coins as well.
And me and Second Amendment, I'm standing right. I
almost got the Trump shirt where it said "fuck your feelings" and it gave everybody the finger.
We're not going to be losing our Second Amendment. They're going to get rid of it. You know who they put in charge? Beto. Remember Beto? Beto O'Rourke. That's a Spanish name. He needed the Spanish vote, right? He said, I want Spanish. I said, what about Hispanic? He said, I don't know about that. He knows less about it than perhaps I do. But Beto, remember he had a cover in a terrible magazine. And he said that I was born to run for president. He was hot then, even though he just lost a race to Texas. He was hot, and he said, I was born to run for president. But anybody that says that is a sure loser. Can you imagine if I said that? I said, I was born to run for president. You said, this guy's whacked out. This guy, it's not an easy deal going on over here, I'll tell you. I had a very nice life before. You know that? You sort of read about my life. You knew a lot about my life. I had a great life. What the hell did I do this for, David? What did I do this for, David Perdue? No, I enjoy it. You know why I enjoy it? I love it. Oh, by the way, did you see they just got the FBI? Did you see the text messages? Oh, it's brutal. One of the guys said, listen, this is really illegal. I want insurance. They bought insurance for these people because they thought they're going to be locked up. We got it. Now they're going crazy. This is the hottest thing right now on the internet all over the place.
Okay, well, I just lost that one. God. I swear. Okay. Let me click this off here. There we go. Okay, okay, I'm not froze there. I'm just making sure I'm not froze anywhere else. Everything looks good. This is not my fault, so let's see. I'm going to try to close some of these windows. Here, I need to re-get this very quickly because it's on my different browser, which I would like to show you. This will only take a minute. I appreciate all your patience. I don't know what's going on with the internet connection or anything. So this will only take a second to get set up real quick. Okay. Wait, you know what I just discovered? Hold on a second. Huh. Wow. Now I understand what's going on. Okay. Yeah, I gotta find it for a minute here. Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize there's something on and I did not know about it. But yeah, the internet is just really screwing up, and I have no idea why. It's crazy. Let's see, what is this? Huh. Okay, that's a reminder. Tomorrow night, if I get a chance, I will stream the Biden-Trump debate. It should be very entertaining. Very, very entertaining. Let's see. This, I guarantee this will not take long. At least it shouldn't. Depending on how much they want to screw with me today. Okay. I got her back. Just 1 minute, because this kind of goes with the theme here. Okay. Thank you for your patience. And this is the announcement of the Supreme Court of Amy, excuse me if I forget her name, but she's a very conservative judge, and she ought to make one hell of a Supreme Court judge. This will give us an even keel. Becca and the D-Live says it's been kicking a lot of streamers out today or lately. Yeah, I'm sure it has. That's crazy. Henry says back. My internet has been cutting out all day so it's not just mine and everybody else's. So oh my God, the debate tomorrow is going to be I bet you it will. I'll bet you they're going to go ahead with it. Amy Burnett, yes. Now, the reason why I say they're going to do the debate, because they don't have a choice. If Biden does not debate, he is going to look worse than he already does. And you might as well just give up right now. You might as well just go home and go back to the basement and do whatever creepy things you do, Joe. Because that debate is going to be hysterical and epic. I think he's not going to be aggressive, but he don't have to be. And you know Trump, he is a great debater. He said yesterday that he has been practicing. He probably could use like a broom handle. It'd be the same as debating Joe. You had the same personality. I give more credit to the broom handle. But anyway, I think he's going to do it, even though the president said that he would rather Joe take a drug test. The president's already agreed to do it. So I think they're going to go ahead and do it. Look how happy he is.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I stand before you today
Becca in the chat in D Live says Biden will wander off.
fulfill one of my highest and most important duties under the United States Constitution, the nomination of a Supreme Court Justice. This is my third such nomination after Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh, and it is a very proud moment indeed. Over the past week, our nation has mourned the loss of a true American legend. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a legal giant and a pioneer.
I gotta say one more thing about the debate. He's probably going to call Trump Jill, his wife Jill.
Pioneer for women. Her extraordinary life and legacy will inspire Americans for generations to come. Now we gather in the Rose Garden to continue our never-ending task of ensuring equal justice and preserving the impartial rule of law. Today it is my honor to nominate one of our nation's most brilliant and gifted legal minds to the Supreme Court. She is a woman of unparalleled achievement, towering intellect, sterling credentials, and unyielding loyalty to the Constitution, Judge Amy Coney Barrett.
I gotta get my chat working. Henry Wade Politics. Wait, censor, whatever the heck your name is now. Says in the chat, if he talks about his hairy legs, he'll lose it.
We're also joined by Amy's husband, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse, very much. And their 7 beautiful children. Congratulations to you all. Very special day. With us as well are the First Lady. Thank you, First Lady. Along with Vice President Mike Pence and his amazing wife, Karen. Thank you very much, Karen. Judge Barrett is a graduate of Rhodes College and the University of Notre Dame Law School. At Notre Dame, she earned a full academic scholarship, served as the executive editor of the Law Review, graduated first in her class, and received the law school's award for the best record of scholarship and achievement. Upon graduation, she became a clerk for Judge Lawrence Silberman on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. Amy then received one of the highest honors a young lawyer could have, serving as a clerk on the Supreme Court for Justice Antonin Scalia. A very highly respected law professor at Notre Dame wrote to Justice Scalia with a one-sentence recommendation: Amy Coney is the best student I ever had. That's pretty good.
Impressive.
Justice Scalia hired her shortly thereafter, and we are honored to have his wonderful wife, Maureen. Where is Maureen? Maureen Scalia with us today. Thank you. And our great Secretary of Labor. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Very good genes in that family, I will say. Very good genes. Before joining the bench, Judge Barrett spent 15 years as a professor at the University of Notre Dame Law School. She was renowned 3 times. She was selected at Notre Dame Distinguished Professor of the Year. When I nominated Judge Barrett to serve on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit in 2017, every law clerk from her time at the Supreme Court endorsed her nomination, writing, quote, "We are Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, yet we write to support the nomination of Professor Barrett to be a circuit judge. Barrett is a woman of remarkable intellect and character. She is eminently qualified for the job, and I can tell you, I did that too. I looked everybody at that school also. We got so many letters, also wrote letters of support of Amy's nomination to the 7th Circuit. They wrote, in effect, despite our differences, we unanimously agree that our constitutional system depends upon an independent judiciary staffed by talented people, devoted to the fair and impartial administration of the rule of law, and we unanimously agree that Amy is such a person. For the last 3 years, Judge Barrett has served with immense distinction on the federal bench. Amy is more than a stellar scholar and judge. She's also a profoundly devoted mother. Her family is a core part of who Amy is. She opened her home and her heart and adopted 2 beautiful children from Haiti. Her incredible bond with her youngest child, a son with Down syndrome, is a true inspiration. If confirmed, Justice Barrett will make history as the first mother of school-age children ever to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. That's good. To her children, Emma, Vivian, Tess, John Peter, Liam, Juliet, and Benjamin, thank you for sharing your incredible mom with our country. Thank you very much. Amy Coney Barrett will decide cases based on the text of the Constitution as written. As Amy has said, being a judge takes courage. You are not there to decide cases as you may prefer. You are there to do your duty and to follow the law wherever it may take you. That is exactly what Judge Barrett will do on the U.S. Supreme Court. I want to thank the members of the Senate. We have so many of them here today. Thank you very much. I see you in the audience and you're so proud. But I want to thank you for your commitment and to providing a fair and timely hearing. I know it will be that. Judge Barrett was confirmed to the Circuit Court 3 years ago by a bipartisan vote. Her qualifications are unsurpassed, and her record is beyond reproach. This should be a straightforward and prompt confirmation. It should be very easy. Good luck. It's going to be very quick. I'm sure it'll be extremely non-controversial. We said that the last time, didn't we? Well, thank you all very much, and thank you for being here. That's really great. Thank you. Thank you. I further urge all members of the other side of the aisle to provide Judge Barrett with the respectful and dignified hearing that she deserves, and frankly, that our country deserves. I urge lawmakers and members of the media to refrain from personal or partisan attacks, and the stakes for our country are incredibly high. Rulings that the Supreme Court will issue in the coming years will decide the survival of our Second Amendment, our religious liberty, our public safety, and so much more. To maintain security, liberty, and prosperity, we must preserve our priceless heritage of a nation of laws, and there is no one better to do that than Amy Coney Barrett. Law and order is the foundation of the American system of justice. No matter the issue, no matter the case before her, I am supremely confident that Judge Barrett will issue rulings based solely upon a fair reading of the law. She will defend the sacred principle of equal justice for citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed. Congratulations again to Judge Barrett. I know that you will make our country very, very proud. Please, Amy, say a few words. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am deeply honored by the confidence that you have placed in me. And I am so grateful to you and the First Lady, to the Vice President and the Second Lady, and to so many others here for your kindness on this rather overwhelming occasion. I fully understand that this is a momentous decision for a president. And if the Senate does me the honor of confirming me, I pledge to discharge the responsibilities of this job to the very best of my ability. I love the United States, and I love the United States Constitution. I am truly humbled by the prospect of serving on the Supreme Court. Should I be confirmed, I will be mindful of who came before me. The flag of the United States is still flying at half-staff in memory of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg to mark the end of a great American life. Justice Ginsburg began her career at a time when women were not welcome in the legal profession. But she not only broke glass ceilings, she smashed them. For that, she has won the admiration of women across the country and indeed all over the world. Yes. She was a woman of enormous talent and consequence, and her life of public service serves as an example to us all. Particularly poignant to me was her long and deep friendship with Justice Antonin Scalia, my own mentor. Justices Scalia and Ginsburg disagreed fiercely in print without rancor in person. Their ability to maintain a warm and rich friendship, despite their differences, even inspired an opera. These two great Americans demonstrated that arguments, even about matters of great consequence, need not destroy affection. In both my personal and professional relationships, I strive to meet that standard. I was lucky enough to clerk for Justice Scalia, and given his incalculable influence on my life, I am very moved to have members of the Scalia family here today, including his dear wife, Maureen. I clerked for Justice Scalia more than 20 years ago, but the lessons I learned still resonate. His judicial philosophy is mine too. A judge must apply the law as written. Judges are not policymakers, and they must be resolute in setting aside any policy views they might hold. The President has asked me to become the 9th Justice, and as it happens, I'm used to being in a group of 9, my family. Our family includes me, my husband Jesse, Emma, Vivian, Tess, John Peter, Liam, Juliet, and Benjamin. Vivian and John Peter, as the President said, were born in Haiti, and they came to us 5 years apart when they were very young. And the most revealing fact about Benjamin, our youngest, is that his brothers and sisters unreservedly identify him as their favorite sibling. Our children obviously make our life very full. While I am a judge, I'm better known back home as a room parent, carpool driver, and birthday party planner. When schools went remote last spring, I tried on another hat. Jesse and I became co-principals of the Barrett e-Learning Academy. And yes, the list of enrolled students was a very long one. Our children are my greatest joy, even though they deprive me of any reasonable amount of sleep. I couldn't manage this very full life without the unwavering support of my husband, Jesse. At the start of our marriage, I imagined that we would run our household as partners. As it has turned out, Jesse does far more than his share of the work. To my chagrin, I learned at dinner recently that my children consider him to be the better cook. For 21 years, Jesse has asked me every single morning what he can do for me that day. And though I almost always say nothing, he still finds ways to take things off my plate. And that's not because he has a lot of free time. He has a busy law practice. It's because he is a superb and generous husband, and I am very fortunate. Jesse and I have a life full of relationships, not only with our children, but with siblings, friends, and fearless babysitters, one of whom is with us today. I am particularly grateful to my parents, Mike and Linda Coney. I have spent the bulk of my adulthood as a Midwesterner, but I grew up in their New Orleans home. And as my brother and sisters can also attest, Mom and Dad's generosity extends not only to us, but to more people than any of us could count. They are an inspiration. It is important at a moment like this to acknowledge family and friends. But this evening, I also want to acknowledge you, my fellow Americans. The President has nominated me to serve on the United States Supreme Court, and that institution belongs to all of us. If confirmed, I would not assume that role for the sake of those in my own circle, and certainly not for my own sake. I would assume this role to serve you. I would discharge the judicial oath, which requires me to administer justice without respect to persons, do equal right to the poor and rich, and faithfully and impartially discharge my duties under the United States Constitution. I have no illusions that the road ahead of me will be easy, either for the short term or the long haul. I never imagined that I would find myself in this position. But now that I am, I assure you that I will meet the challenge with both humility and courage. Members of the United States Senate, I look forward to working with you during the confirmation process, and I will do my very best to demonstrate that I am worthy of your support. Thank you.
This is exactly what this Supreme Court needs, is a constitutionalist. And it's really weird that Ginsburg and Scalia got along so well.
Come on up, family.
It's kind of like
Come
apples and oranges.
I want to acknowledge Attorney all of the senators, please. We're going to have a busy couple of weeks, but I think it's going to be easier than you might think. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Play it for you anyhow. This is Judge Amy Bennett. Let's see, this was in 2019. Well, let's see. There was a different one I wanted. This one will do, I think. Make sure. Oh, it's going to work too. Okay, just a minute. There was... And there's the ones I wanted to play for you earlier. Okay. I'll play that one for you. This is 2019.
An M.O. Miller Research Chair of Law, and she was named Professor of the Year in 2010 and 2016. For any law professors out there, don't ever let anyone tell you to show clips of my cousin will be an award-winning professor. In May 2017, the President nominated Judge Barrett to serve on the United States Court of Appeals, confirmed by the Senate.
You are without a doubt among the most gifted lawyers of your generation. And when I talk to someone like you, I'm always curious when and how that person came to know what lawyers are and what they do. For me, I have a distinct memory of Rainmaker with my dad on vacation when I was in grade school, which is probably not the best introduction as to an accurate depiction of our profession.
And in my mind, I thought the two coolest things to be would be a high school French teacher or English teacher. It's high school teacher, not law, until later in the game. But it was my dad who kind of showed me what it was to be a lawyer.
In sense, where did you go to school?
That is very, so my great-great-grandparents had come to New Orleans from France, and then families stayed for generations thereafter. So I went to high school at St. Mary's Dominican High School, which is where my grandmother and my mother and all of my aunts and my sisters and my nieces, it's an all-girls school, my nieces who are being raised in New Orleans, I'm sure will go one day too.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What were those years like for you during high school?
You know, I loved the high school that I attended. I loved.
Sorry for the disruptions. Having connections again, problems with the connections in D-Live.
Loved being at an all-girls school. It was really, I think, freeing. I mean, you know, I formed really close friendships. We could be very competitive with one another academically. There was just a lot of freedom. I was actually recently back at my high school last summer for an alumni event. And I was sad. I mean, my kids are in a great situation in South Bend, and we love it, but I was sad actually that my daughters couldn't attend the high school that I attended, because I did have such great memories and great experiences there. Some of my closest friends.
Yeah. Was there a particular person, any mentor that had a special impact on you during those years?
You know, there were several teachers who took a special interest in me in high school, and when I was back last summer, I saw several of them. I think that when a teacher pays special attention and singles a student out, just pursues the student and builds a relationship, I think it can have a big impact on the student's life. And I saw several of these teachers. Some of them were nuns. Some of them were not. Many of them are still in the faculty of the school, and it was great to see them. So I would say there were 3 or 4 who really took a very special interest in me and kept up with me over the years.
Wonderful. After attending St. Mary's Dominican High School, you went on to study at Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee. To those of us who are less acquainted with the South, Memphis and New Orleans might seem awfully similar, that they're both southern cities with cultures that are centered on food and music. Was that change in geography native?
Well, I would say that New Orleans and Memphis have some similarities, but they definitely, and my parents had a lot of private school tuition, a family, an extended family, and so I got a really good scholarship to Rhodes, and it was driving distance. It was 6 hours, and it was a city, in which I felt comfortable, and it was a liberal arts school. I was never destined for the sciences or math, so liberal arts was the perfect fit for me.
I share that sentiment about science and math. And you studied English at Rhodes. Why was that?
I loved, ever since I was a little girl, I've loved to read and write. And, being an English major allowed me to do that. I minored in French, in part because of that high school French teacher mom, that I had. But it was interesting. I got an A- in French, and I was pretty upset about that. I didn't want that A- in French. So I decided to minor in it to try to conquer it. And when one of my French professors wrote me a recommendation for a study abroad program, he wrote, speaks French with strong southeastern Louisiana accent. So I don't know that it was ever, I managed to become somewhat fluent, but I don't think I would have ever passed for a native. So I majored in English and minored in French.
And did you have any mentors while you were at Rhodes? And if so, what were the particular qualities of that mentor that made the relationship?
I grew close to, and there was particular Jennifer Brady. I took every class that she taught. I loved her. And what with this presentation, and I, was sure that it had gone awfully, but she sought me out afterwards, and she liked what I had done, and she encouraged me. And I think that's what mentoring is. I think taking the time to reach out to someone, to talk to someone. She encouraged me, became a mentor, and then at graduation she gave me the collected works of Truman Capote because she remembered from the first event.
The life as you were graduating from Rhodes and moving on, you decided to pursue a law degree. But you mentioned earlier that you're
university professor in an English department. And I also thought about law school. I went back and forth and made pro-con lists and thought about it, and ultimately I liked that law would equip me more to make, and I feel terrible saying this because I just finished saying how my English professor had such a big impact on my life, but I liked the way that law would enable me to do the reading and writing that I loved, but also be kind of involved in real world things, in real world policy and shaping of society in a more direct way than I thought teaching English literature would.
And then you made a decision that everyone in this room can.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to I'm sure everybody missed half of this interview. So what I'll do is I will keep it and I will see about redoing this at a later date when the internet decides to quit being a butthole. It's really becoming a pain in the ass. So, and I want you to enjoy all these. So this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this a night. But before, I'm going to try to get you this one last video in because it's really good. It's a little creepy, but it's good. Let me find it. It'll just take a couple minutes. I guarantee it will not take that long because I have it right here. So I hope everybody's enjoyed what you were able actually to see. and I still have more stuff for you to get to, and it's really good stuff. So, hold on a second. That's not it. Let's see. Come on. Oh, where the heck is it? Okay, well, unfortunately, I lost that one too. Damn internet. They love to screw with everybody, don't they? They cannot, stop doing it. I'm going to see if I can find it here real quick because it's really good. It's really a good one. Let's see. I had it all fired up. Okay, well, I don't have it. I apologize for that. It was really good. I do appreciate all of you coming in. And I will distribute the lemons for those in the live. Thank you very much for joining. Just technical errors I have no control over. So, God bless the President of the United States, Vice President, and the military, law enforcement, and every American here. So if you are one of those haters, get the fuck out. Just go, because you don't like it here anyway. And go have somebody else pray for you. I can pray for your salvation, that you will find truth, that you will find the spark of morality, and that you need so bad. And know your ways are not the way to go. You're supposed to love this country, not hate it. You're not supposed to destroy it. You're supposed to build it. You're not supposed to loot. You're supposed to grow businesses. You are supposed to better yourself. And this is not the way that you all are doing when it comes to BLM and Antifa. So anybody who is in those groups or thinking about it, please leave while you can. Please do not go there. Please do not hang out with these people that are pure evil, and make your life a better one and a better tomorrow. Be kind to each other. Love one another. This is what God wants. You know, sometimes we have our rough days, but as I've been told before, God never leaves you. So I love y'all. Appreciate every single one of you. I will try to be back tomorrow, and I'll have the debate on. I have a feeling he's going to do it. So God bless you all. I really honestly appreciate everybody who joins and on the replay. Please share. Join me next time on DLive, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, possibly YouTube, and Facebook. Oh, come on. Yeah, now this has got to give me a little bit of an issue. That's all right. That's okay. So everybody enjoy the rest of your night, and I shall see you extremely soon. Have a wonderful night. God bless. Oh. I'm going to distribute the lemons right now. I'll stay here until they're done. Becca is the big winner, 52 lemons and tea lives. Congratulations. Remember, vote red in November for Donald Trump, any red GOP Republican, however you want to say, for Senate, and we better take the House. So get out there, volunteer, do what we have to. Let's take that House back. Keep that Senate and re-elect Donald Trump. Have a